It seems that no matter where you go in the world, we always manage to find a whole lot of horrible monsters with nasty habits and one main goal: to leave you very dead. And that's exactly what's on the menu for you lucky folks today. This time, we're heading to South America and deep into the Amazon. Hope you brought bug spray, from a tiny fish that wants to get painfully intimate with your most sensitive area, to a shark that can actually hunt you from the ocean all the way into the rainforest. Here are the 20 deadliest monsters of the Amazon. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now, let's get started. Number 20. Yellow anaconda. Anacondas are among the most impressive creatures in the animal kingdom. They are enormous snakes, and it's no exaggeration to say they rank among the largest on the planet. These serpents can reach unbelievable proportions, weighing a colossal 250 kilograms and growing up to an astonishing 21 meters in length in extreme cases. To reach such a frightening size, these predators need to consume truly large and sturdy prey. Among their favorite meals are animals like deer, wild boars, caimans, and on rarer occasions, even jaguars. Anacondas are constrictor snakes. That is, unlike venomous snakes, they kill their prey through sheer force. They wrap tightly around the victim and squeeze with such intensity that it causes asphyxiation, preventing the prey from breathing, which is then swallowed whole. The yellow anaconda is a very close relative of the famous green anaconda, the giant that holds the title of the largest snake in the world. But that doesn't mean the yellow version is small. Far from it. These snakes usually measure around 3 meters on average, but there are records of specimens that far exceed this length, reaching impressive dimensions. They live mainly in humid environments such as rivers, swamps, and flooded areas, where they move with nearly invisible skill. These snakes often strike from the depths of the water, surprising their prey so swiftly that the animal sometimes drowns before even being suffocated. This stealthy behavior, combined with their preference for aquatic habitats, has earned them the nickname water snake, a title that carries both mystery and respect. Number 19. Amazonian black scorpion. This is, without a doubt, one little creature you definitely wouldn't want to run into, and if you do happen to cross its path, you'd better hope you're not on the wrong side. But that raises the question, is there even a right side? After all, it can strike both forward and backward, making it even more unpredictable. The Amazonian black scorpion is one of the largest scorpion species known in South America, capable of reaching an impressive 10 centimeters in length, which is quite a lot for a scorpion. Once it reaches adulthood, its color turns completely black, giving it a menacing and intimidating appearance. When young, they display a lighter brown color, but even at that stage, they already have a functional stinger, making them dangerous from an early age. This creature is nocturnal and prefers to stay out of sight during the day, skillfully hiding under fallen logs, between tree roots, or beneath damp rocks. At night, however, it emerges in search of food, revealing its predatory behavior. Its diet consists mainly of arthropods and various insects, especially beetles, grasshoppers, and termites, its favorite prey. But what truly places the Amazonian black scorpion among the most feared animals in the region is its terrifying sting. Its venom is a potent mix of neurotoxins and cardiotoxins, meaning it attacks both the nervous and cardiovascular systems of its victim. When injected into a human, this toxic cocktail can trigger a disturbing array of symptoms, including intense and immediate pain, excessive sweating, significant swelling at the sting site, as well as nausea and vomiting. Other common effects include numbness in the limbs, involuntary muscle spasms, violent seizures, an altered state of consciousness known as semicoma, hallucinations, rapid heartbeat, uncontrollable salivation, and in the most severe cases, total bodily collapse. And yes, in extreme situations without proper medical treatment, the victim may not survive. Definitely not the kind of encounter you'd want to have. Sound fun? Not even a little. Number 18. Vampire fish. One glance at these creatures and the name becomes instantly clear. Vampire fish. With teeth that look more like sharp daggers, they truly live up to their terrifying reputation. These striking freshwater fish are known by a variety of names, including payara, dogtooth tetra, wolffish, and even the sinister Dracula fish. All of these nicknames have one thing in common. They highlight the fierce, predatory nature of this almost mythological creature. The most remarkable feature of the vampire fish is, without a doubt, its huge, sharp, serrated fangs fangs that resemble pointed knives ready to strike. These teeth can grow between 12 and 15 centimeters long, which, considering the fish's overall size, is frighteningly disproportionate and threatening. These fangs are not only massive, but also extremely strong, allowing the creature to rip into its victims with a single, powerful bite. They serve as both offensive weapons and gripping tools, used to pierce and then hold onto prey while it feeds. The vampire fish doesn't just look intimidating, it acts like a true monster from the deep. It's an aggressive creature and a natural-born hunter. It's constantly on the move, searching for something to devour. It hunts with focus and brutality, driven by an almost insatiable instinct. And if all that weren't enough, it has no natural predators, meaning it rules its territory with total freedom, relentlessly chasing down other species. Its behavior is so extreme that it even feeds on members of its own kind, practicing cannibalism without hesitation. It's feared even by piranhas, which usually don't back down from anything, but when they spot a vampire fish, they'd rather flee and hide. This beast of nature leaves a trail of fear wherever it goes, fully deserving the name it proudly bears. Number 17. Giant otter. Despite the imposing name, which might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, a futuristic, exaggerated version of the friendly little otter, the reality is a bit different. Giant otters are indeed larger than other species in the same family, but they're far from colossal. These incredible animals typically measure between 1 meter and 1.35 meters in length, which is considerable, but still within the realm of the believable. In terms of weight, they're not especially heavy either, ranging from 22 to 32 kilograms. This gives them a long, elegant, and slender appearance, rather than a massive or intimidating one. And that's probably a good thing, because although they're charming and undeniably cute, they are natural-born predators with a voracious appetite. These creatures are mostly aquatic and spend much of their lives in the water, where they find the majority of their food. Fish make up the main part of their diet, but the giant otter's appetite is as impressive as its agility. They can consume between 2.7 to 4 kilograms of food per day, a significant amount for their size. But don't be fooled into thinking they settle for just fish. These opportunistic hunters also prey on small caimans, young anacondas, various crustaceans, and other aquatic creatures unlucky enough to cross their path. Their hunting efficiency is one of the trademarks of the species, with sharp eyes that give them excellent underwater vision and sensitive whiskers, known as vibrissae, capable of detecting even the slightest movement around them. Giant otters are true hunting machines perfectly adapted to aquatic life. Despite their charisma and seemingly harmless appearance, they are fierce animals that don't hesitate when it comes to catching and devouring prey. They are at once adorable and ruthless, a combination few creatures pull off as naturally as they do. Number 15. Jaguar. The majestic, muscular, and incredibly powerful jaguar is one of the most impressive beasts in the Americas. This large feline can grow up to about 1.8 meters in length, placing it just behind titans like the tiger and the lion in the ranking of the world's largest big cats. But size isn't everything, and in the case of the jaguar, strength, skill, and ferocity stand out even more. This agile predator silently roams the dense, humid forests of Central and South America, where it encounters a wide range of prey, many of which are far from defenseless. We're talking about seriously tough animals, like giant capybaras, swift deer, and even the feared caimans. Yes, you heard that right. It's not uncommon to see jaguars taking on full-grown caimans in brutal showdowns and winning. Defeating such a creature is no small feat. It takes strength, precision, and a lethal technique that few predators can master. Part of the jaguar's secret lies in its physical makeup. Its head is relatively large compared to its body, and its jaws are considered among the most powerful of all felines. With incredibly sharp teeth and a bite strong enough to crush bones with ease, the jaguar is practically a killing machine. But it's not just brute force that sets it apart. This animal is also fast, stealthy, and extremely strategic. With excellent climbing abilities, it can ambush prey from above, and its love for water makes it one of the few big cats that actually enjoy swimming, often chasing aquatic prey. Its hunting methods range from subtle ambushes to ruthless frontal attacks. And if all that wasn't impressive enough, here's the final touch. The jaguar has a signature killing move. Instead of going for the neck like most big cats do, the jaguar uses its jaws to bite directly into the skull of its prey. Yes, it literally sinks its teeth into the skull and pierces the brain, causing instant death with no chance of escape. It's a perfect predator, with a brutal and straightforward style. No messing around, just lethal precision. Number 14. Giant leech. Now, try to stay calm and avoid having nightmares about this next creature, but we're talking about one of the most terrifying and grotesque bloodsuckers in the animal kingdom. The giant leeches of the Amazon are real-life nightmares, or rather, real-life slime crawlers, and you might have seen something like them in a jungle movie where someone dives innocently into the water and resurfaces with their back covered in dark, slimy creatures. Well, those things are real, and they're called Hamanteria gilliani, one of the largest leech species known to humans. These aquatic worms can grow to a truly disturbing size, reaching up to 45 centimeters in length and around 10 centimeters in width, big enough to make you never want to swim in the Amazon again. They inhabit the freshwater regions of South America, mainly found at the mouth of the Amazon River, stretching into parts of Venezuela and the Guianas, where they live in flooded or coastal environments, typically hiding under rocks, submerged leaves, and other debris. Although they spend most of their time out of sight, when they come out, it's because they're looking for a meal, and the menu is always the same: blood. They feed by piercing the skin of their victims with specialized mouths lined with rows of microscopic teeth that slice like blades. Then they slowly suck the blood while injecting anesthetic and anticoagulant substances so the victim doesn't even realize what's happening. For nearly a century, between 1890 and 1970, this species was believed to be extinct, offering some collective relief to the public imagination. But that peace didn't last long. In a horror movie-worthy twist, 2 adult specimens were rediscovered in French Guiana, proving the species had survived in hiding all along. And that's when we met Grandma Moses, one of the captured giant leeches who went on to become a legend in the scientific world. This extraordinary individual produced no fewer than 750 offspring, providing researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, with a rich source of study for many years. When Grandma Moses eventually died, her body was preserved and added to the National Parasite Collection, a sort of sacred hall of fame for legendary bloodsuckers. Without a doubt, it's the highest honor a leech could receive, and also a perfect way to make sure no one sleeps peacefully at night after hearing this story. Number 12. Red-bellied piranha. Piranhas. Few creatures inspire as much fear just by name alone. Among all the species found throughout the vast Amazon basin, the red-bellied piranha is, without a doubt, the most infamous, and with good reason. With its powerful jaw and razor-sharp triangular teeth, this small biting machine has earned a top spot among the most feared predators of the rainforest. But are they really as dangerous as people say? Well, it depends. Despite their terrifying reputation, these fish don't spend their days waiting for the next human victim. In fact, the diet of the red-bellied piranha is much more varied and a bit less bloody than most imagine. They feed on smaller fish, aquatic insects, crustaceans, and even plant matter like seeds and algae. Yes, that's right, they occasionally go vegetarian. But don't be fooled. When food becomes scarce and hunger kicks in, these creatures turn into something entirely different. During those times, especially in the dry season, when river levels drop and food is limited, the red-bellied piranha reveals its most voracious side. They gather in large schools and go into feeding frenzies, where anything that moves in the water can become a target, including large animals, water birds, and even humans. These group attacks are rare, but they do happen, and when they do, the results can be brutal. They are capable of tearing chunks of flesh off with rapid, coordinated bites, leaving little or nothing behind in just minutes. This aggressive, collective behavior is what has fueled horror stories and earned them an almost mythical reputation. But it's important to remember that outside of these extreme situations, piranhas are not bloodthirsty human hunters. In fact, there are very few documented cases of fatal attacks on people, and most of them are linked to specific conditions, like open wounds, excessive noise, or sudden splashing in the water. Still, no one wants to be the unlucky soul who finds out the school was hungry that day. So, if you ever find yourself exploring the Amazon and thinking about taking a dip to cool off, it might be worth taking a good look around first. After all, no one wants to come out of the water missing a few pieces, right? Number 11. Poison dart frog. If you ever come across a poison dart frog in the forest, remember this: no matter how cute and colorful it may look, it's one of the deadliest creatures on the planet. Despite its tiny size, usually just about 2.5 centimeters long, this little frog carries a powerful toxin in its skin that can kill up to 10 adult humans. So even if it looks like a living toy or a natural keychain, don't even think about touching it. The most famous of them is the golden poison dart frog, found mainly in the tropical rainforests of Colombia. There, indigenous people peoples like the Embera have used this tiny creature's toxin for centuries to poison the tips of their arrows and blow darts. That's where the name poison dart frog comes from. The toxin is strong enough to bring down game animals with impressive speed. The toxin found in these frogs is called batrachotoxin, an extremely potent alkaloid that interferes with sodium channels in nerve and muscle cells. In simpler terms, it paralyzes the body from the inside out, blocking communication between the brain and muscles, including the heart. A single frog can contain enough toxin to kill about 10 people, or terrifyingly, to 20,000 lab mice. Interestingly, these amphibians only produce the toxin due to their highly specific diet in the wild, which includes toxic ants, beetles, and other insects. Frogs raised in captivity, for example, don't develop the same deadly venom, which gives scientists a clue about how the toxin accumulates in the animal's body. Despite how lethal it is, the poison dart frog has caught the attention of modern medicine. Researchers have managed to isolate components of the venom and use them to develop powerful painkillers, which may be helpful in treating chronic pain and even in neurological therapies. In other words, this tiny creature is both a deadly weapon and a potential source of healing. So next time you hear someone say that the best things come in small packages, think of the poison dart frog. Lethal, potent, and pocket-sized. Number 10. Electric eel. Among the most fascinating and mysterious creatures in the Amazonian waters, the electric eel certainly holds a special place. With its long, sinuous body, almost menacing expression, and abilities that seem straight out of a sci-fi movie, it's a true wonder of nature and a seriously underestimated threat. Despite its name, the electric eel isn't technically an eel, but a type of electric fish from the knife fish family, Gymnotidae. Still, no one really cares about taxonomy when they're about to be hit with thousands of volts. Yes, that's right. This strange creature has the incredible ability to generate powerful electric shocks, reaching up to 860 volts. This energy comes from electric organs inside its body, made up of specialized cells called electrocytes. They work like tiny batteries in series, releasing charges that can paralyze prey or scare off potential predators. Electric eels are usually found in the murky, muddy waters of the Amazon and Orinoco rivers, where visibility is extremely low. In this challenging environment, they use low-voltage electric pulses as a kind of biological radar, similar to the sonar used by bats, allowing them to detect movement, obstacles, and even hidden prey buried in the riverbed. It's like they have electric vision. These impressive fish can grow up to 2 meters long and weigh over 20 kilos. They're not exactly small, and their size, combined with their electric weapon, makes them highly effective predators. They use high-voltage shocks to immobilize fish, amphibians, and even small mammals. And they don't hesitate to use that force for self-defense as well. And while it's rare for them to kill humans outright, the shocks they produce are strong enough to cause unconsciousness. In water, that's incredibly dangerous. An unconscious person can drown in a matter of seconds. On top of that, repeated shocks can lead to cardiac arrhythmias or even cardiac arrest in individuals with pre-existing conditions. Definitely not the kind of animal you'd want to bump into during a relaxing swim. With its stealthy appearance, reserved behavior, and electrifying talents, the electric eel feels like a cross between a water ninja and a movie villain. And maybe that's why so many scientists and curious minds around the world remain so fascinated by it. Number 9. Black caiman. Among the most feared predators of the Amazon, the black caiman reigns supreme, and with good reason. This colossal creature is the largest of all caiman species, capable of reaching an impressive 6 meters, nearly 20 feet, in length. That makes it not only the largest reptile in the region, but also one of the top land predators in all of South America. If you come across one, you might notice it looks a lot like the American alligator, but its dark, almost black skin is the perfect camouflage for the murky jungle waters. This shadowy coloring is especially useful during its nocturnal hunts, when it's most active and most dangerous. The black caiman inhabits much of the Amazon basin and can be found in countries like Brazil, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, Guyana, French Guiana, Peru, and Venezuela. It usually prefers calm, freshwater environments like rivers, lakes, flooded forests, and even swamps. During the rainy season, from May to July, rising water levels allow it to spread out over larger areas. But when the dry season comes, from September to December, the rivers shrink and caiman caimans become concentrated in smaller bodies of water, increasing the chances of encounters with humans, which don't always end well. Despite being giant predators, black caimans have an interesting anatomical feature. Their teeth aren't particularly sharp. They're great for grabbing and holding onto prey, but not so efficient at tearing flesh like other carnivores. So instead of delivering a killing bite, they use a more dramatic approach. They drag their victim underwater to drown it, or simply swallow it whole, like an extra-large snack. With highly developed night vision and keen senses, these giants are relentless hunters, preying on everything from fish and turtles to capybaras, deer, and even anacondas. And while attacks on humans are rare, they do happen, especially in areas where their natural habitat is shrinking. These animals don't just command respect, they practically define what it means to be a top predator in the Amazon rainforest. So the next time you're calmly drifting down an Amazonian river, just remember, you might be watched by a pair of red eyes lurking in the shadows, eyes that belong to one of nature's most formidable hunters. Number 8. Bullet ant. Known for holding the not-so-coveted title of the insect with the most painful sting in the world, the bullet ant is not something you want to stumble upon. The name bullet ant comes from the fact that its sting is often compared to getting shot. Yes, shot. And it's not just a figure of speech. The pain is so intense and sharp that many who've experienced it say it truly feels like a real bullet piercing your flesh. These ants live in the tropical rainforests of Central and South America, especially in the Amazon. Despite their terrifying reputation, bullet ants are actually quite calm, usually living in isolated colonies and not being particularly aggressive toward humans. In fact, they only attack when they feel threatened or provoked. The real problem is that if you accidentally touch or step on one, it won't be just that ant coming after you. A single bullet ant sting releases pheromones, a kind of chemical battle cry, that calls the rest of the colony to join the attack. And then, my friend, you're getting stung like it's the last thing they'll ever do. The sting itself is described as explosive, intense pain that comes in waves and can last up to 24 hours. No wonder it ranks at the top of the Schmidt Sting Pain Index, a scale created by an entomologist who literally let various insects sting him to classify their pain levels. The official description of the bullet ant sting: a pure, brilliant, and intense wave of pain, like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel. To make things even more extreme, some Amazonian indigenous tribes, like the Sataremoe, use these ants in initiation rituals. Young boys must place their hands inside gloves filled with bullet ants and endure dozens of stings for several minutes. They repeat the process multiple times before being recognized as warriors. Yes, you read that right. This actually happens. No anesthesia included. Moral of the story: if you're ever in the rainforest, watch carefully where you walk, what you touch, and where you sit, because an encounter with a bullet ant is one of those things you'll never forget and definitely won't want to experience twice. Number 7. Arapaima. The Arapaima is a true colossus of South America's freshwater ecosystems, considered one of the largest freshwater fish species in the world. Native to the vast Amazon and Essequibo river basins, it can reach an astonishing 2.7 meters, nearly 9 feet, in length, though there are reports of individuals growing even larger, and the weight up to 200 kilograms, over 400 pounds, of pure muscle, armored scales, and an insatiable appetite. But despite its impressive size, the Arapaima is under threat. In recent decades, its population has dropped dramatically due to overfishing and habitat loss, driven by expanding human activity. A sad fate for a fish that once ruled the Amazonian rivers with unmatched dominance. Visually, the Arapaima is striking. It has a long, streamlined body with shimmering greenish and reddish scales, a strong tail, and a face that always looks a little grumpy, like it just got woken up from a deep nap. And speaking of naps, this fish has a unique ability. It breathes atmospheric air. Yes, you read that right. In waters where most fish would suffocate due to low oxygen levels, especially during the rainy season, when the forest floods and decaying vegetation depletes oxygen. The Arapaima simply rises to the surface to breathe. It does this thanks to a modified swim bladder, which acts like a primitive lung. Because of this, it can survive up to 24 hours out of water as long as it stays moist. This trait also makes it an impressive predator. The Arapaima feeds on smaller fish, crustaceans, and even small animals that get too close to the surface. Its hunting method is as efficient as it is intimidating. It opens its massive mouth so forcefully that it creates a powerful vacuum, sucking in prey along with water, leaves, and anything else nearby. Then it uses its sharp teeth to crush the unfortunate victim without mercy. Despite its size and strength, the Arapaima is relatively calm and poses no real threat to humans, unless, of course, you're an unsuspecting fish swimming nearby. Still, coming face to face with one one of these river giants in the murky waters of the Amazon is something you likely wouldn't forget anytime soon. Number 6. Brazilian wandering spider. With a name that sounds both exotic and threatening, the Brazilian wandering spider has a reputation as terrifying as its appearance. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, it holds the title of the most venomous spider in the world, a distinction that's far from comforting. And if you're walking through a tropical forest in Brazil without paying much attention, you might want to watch your step. This is not a spider you want to mess with. Unlike many spiders that build webs to catch their prey, the wandering spider has a much more active and terrifying lifestyle. These arachnids prefer to roam the forest floor at night, hunting the old-fashioned way by stalking or ambushing. They move silently under the cover of darkness, locating and striking their victims with speed and precision, and their menu not modest at all. Besides other spiders and insects, the Brazilian wandering spider is known to capture and consume small reptiles, amphibians, and even rodents. With its long, hairy legs and an appearance that could send shivers down anyone's spine, it won't hesitate to bite if surprised or threatened. And unfortunately for us, that bite isn't just painful, it's potentially lethal. Symptoms begin with intense, burning pain at the bite site. From there, the neurotoxic venom kicks in quickly, triggering a chain reaction in the victim's body. Cold sweats, chills, rapid heartbeat, or sometimes a dangerously slow one. Blood pressure may spike or crash as the body struggles to cope with the spreading toxin. But that's just the beginning. Nausea, severe abdominal pain, dizziness, blurred vision, tremors, seizures, and even hypothermia can follow. And the most terrifying part? The severity of the symptoms depends on how much venom was injected, something you'll only find out when it's already too late. Despite all this, there's a silver lining. Thanks to medical advances, treatment for a bite from this spider is well developed. If you act quickly and seek immediate medical attention, there's a high chance of full recovery. The antivenom is highly effective and, in most cases, saves the patient's life. Still, it's best to avoid such an encounter altogether, because let's face it, that's not an experience anyone wants to tick off their bucket list. Number 5. The mata-mata turtle. The mata-mata turtle is one of the strangest creatures in South America, and perhaps one of the weirdest in the entire animal kingdom. With an appearance that looks like it crawled out of a surreal nightmare, this freshwater turtle stands out with its heavily knobby shell, flattened head, and wide mouth. Oh, and let's not forget the long, odd snout that it uses like a built-in snorkel. The first thing that grabs your attention is its shell. Large, dark, and covered in cone-shaped bumps, it makes the mata-mata look like a living rock or a piece of fallen tree trunk. And honestly, that's part of its charm, or rather, part of its camouflage. It blends perfectly into the murky, swampy environments where it lives, making it almost invisible to both predators and prey. But the weirdness doesn't stop there. Its neck is long, flat, and covered in irregular folds of skin and warty textures, adding to its bizarre appearance. Its head is triangular and flattened as well, and that strange snout works like a breathing tube, allowing the turtle to stay submerged for long periods with only the tip sticking out of the water. If you saw it in a pond, you'd probably think it was a branch or a floating leaf, and that's exactly what it wants you to think. Despite its forward-facing eyes, its vision is quite limited. To make up for it, the mata-mata uses a set of fleshy skin flaps around its head that detect subtle vibrations in the water. These sensory antennas help it detect movement and locate both predators and prey with surprising accuracy. It also has highly sensitive hearing, making it a surprisingly effective hunter. Even with that awkward, prehistoric look, it might not be the prettiest turtle in the world, but it's definitely one of the most fascinating, a true master of disguise and survival. Number 4. The Amazonian giant centipede. The centipede, known as Scolopendra gigantea, is found mainly in the tropical and subtropical forests of northern South America. This is officially the largest centipede on the planet, so it really deserves a crown, or at least a medal, or maybe some sort of certificate from our clipboard-carrying friends at the Guinness World Records. But these creatures are far too busy hiding among leaves and rotting wood in the rainforest to worry about making it into the record books. These massive centipedes often grow over 30 centimeters, about a foot, in length and use their size to hunt surprisingly large prey. Among their favorite meals are other insects, especially spiders, scorpions, and millipedes, but they also snack on small mammals like mice and bats, and even the occasional occasional bird or frog. That gives you an idea of just how big these animals can get. And before you assume they only go after tiny creatures, well, humans aren't entirely safe from these giant insects either. They have a venomous bite, which can be dangerous to people, and at least one human death has been recorded as a result of being bitten by one of these creepy crawlers. So yeah, that's pretty comforting, isn't it? Number 3. The Candiru. You've probably heard of this one, even if you didn't know the name. A small freshwater fish native to the Amazon River, the toothpick fish, or Candiru, is most infamous for supposedly being drawn to swim up and lodge itself inside the human urethra. References to this tiny fish pop up frequently in films about the Amazon, and we've all heard the rumors before. Interestingly, there aren't many verified cases of this urine-loving fish choosing such an unfortunate parking spot, but the myth endures nonetheless. In reality, these tiny swimmers are among the few parasitic fish known to science, and when they're not zipping into a stream of urine, they usually prefer the cozy gill chambers of other fish. Once there, they anchor themselves in place using a set of sharp spines, and that is exactly what makes them so painful if they end up in a more sensitive human location. The host fish doesn't get off easy either. The little toothpick will bore a hole and literally suck the blood of its victim. They may look skinny, but that also makes them razor sharp and needle-like. Side note, if you ever find yourself in the very unfortunate situation of having one swim into your genital area, removing it could mean those spines rip your urethra apart. And if it manages to fully enter, well, it's just going to sit there and drink your blood. Just saying, maybe it's best to avoid the Amazon altogether, you know, just to be safe. Number 2. The bull shark. The aggressive and relentless bull shark ranks among an exclusive group, along with great whites and tiger sharks, as one of the top 3 shark species known to regularly attack humans. These creatures are dangerous and deadly, and they also seem to have an especially bad temper, which is a pretty risky combination of personality traits if you ask me. Growing up to 3.5 meters in length and weighing as much as 225 kilograms, these are some big, bad, bloodthirsty fish, and they're not exactly picky eaters. Opportunistic predators, bull sharks will eat basically anything that moves and are often found in shallow waters, the same waters where unsuspecting humans like to swim. Now add to that the fact that they can also be found literally thousands of kilometers upstream in freshwater rivers, and they become some of the most lethal monsters you might run into in the Amazon. So, if you weren't already worried about being drowned by a crocodile or torn apart by a swarm of piranhas, now you can add sharks to the list of things trying to kill you. Even though they're not strictly freshwater dwellers, bull sharks are frequently found cruising around in rivers. Turns out they're really good at switching between saltwater and freshwater, which also means you never really know where they might be hiding, just waiting to take a bite out of your tasty limbs. Number 1. The South American rattlesnake. Feast your eyes on the super dangerous and highly venomous South American rattlesnake. These solitary but deadly creatures can be found all across South America, inhabiting forests and semi-arid regions. They become especially active at dusk and again in the morning. They're a particularly nasty threat if you happen to be a rodent or even a lizard, so be careful where you let your guinea pig roam around. Not that I'd ever let anything happen to poor Twinkle. If you're a human, these snakes usually aren't especially aggressive, but a bite from one of these reptiles will definitely ruin your day. The venom of the South American rattlesnake contains neurotoxins that cause gradual paralysis, followed by blurred vision, and eventually total blindness. And if that doesn't sound like enough fun, you might also experience hearing problems, difficulty breathing due to paralysis, muscle damage, high blood pressure, and shock. But the leading cause of death in humans? Kidney failure. Oh, and if you don't get medical treatment quickly, the mortality rate is around 72%. Yeah, don't ever tell me the odds. It's starting to look like the Amazon is basically packed with raging, uncontrollable monsters, all seemingly determined to either kill you or sneak into your most delicate areas, causing a whole lot of chaos. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Don't forget to check out other interesting content appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.